Yeah, huge week for us. Finally, that time of the year where we get to play for the reasons that we've been training for all season long with March Madness. And we're in a really cool spot as a team right now because we far exceeded any expectations that anyone had for us going into the year. And we can, feel comfortable with where we're at in terms of playing in the tournament and all those things that we set out to do. Made all kinds of history. So we're feeling really good about that. However, still in a position where we're incredibly hungry and know that all those things really was never the goal. It's about playing in March. And so we're excited to get after it, excited to get to Kansas City and, just continue to take care of business the way we have all season long.
From a scouting standpoint, with sort of how funky this bracket is, do you look at all three teams? You just kind of focus on yourself going into this first game? Kind of what's that look like?
Yeah, it's really unique. I've never been in this position as a coach to have a tournament, be structured the way it is. But the great thing for us, obviously, it's so important. We just have to take it one game at a time. So you never want to look very far ahead or ahead at all. But when you look at the potential teams we could play, we just played Utah, we just played Kansas. Tech is the game that was a little bit longer ago. So, that would be a little bit different prep. But as far as the other teams that we could potentially see in that first round, it's not very long ago that we played them. So I don't think that too much changes from a scout standpoint.
From a seeding standpoint for the NCAA tournament, do y'all feel like, with how good the Big 12 is, y'all still have a chance to make huge improvement and maybe what people think of y'all?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. To be honest, I've been pretty frustrated with where people have seeded us leading up to this point. I mean, I kind of feel sometimes like maybe they're not paying attention or, just we're not getting the respect that we should as far as that goes. I mean, I'm not really sure sometimes what more we can do. We're 26th in the net. We've got 5 quad 1 wins of the teams that are ranked in our conference. We've beat all of them. I mean, I could go on and on. Some of the games that we've won on the road, to have those teams, seated higher than us. I mean, that's pretty frustrating. But and I'm not taking anything away from those teams. The Big 12 is one of the best in the country, and I think if you really do your research and homework and pay attention to what Oklahoma State has done, though, we need to be seated higher in those projections right now. But the thing I love about this group, I mean, we've been underestimated all season long, and we got picked to finish 11th at the end of the day in the Big 12, and here we are with a double bye and a 3 seed, and our players they thrive off of that, and we just have to continue to have the same mentality and approach that we've had all year long. That we've got a lot to prove, and you just got to win. You just got to win and wake them up, and that's what we'll continue to try and do.
Anna, Gret, what's it feel like going into your last postseason?
I'm really excited. Haven't been in a position like that as a leader. 2 years ago, when we went to both of the postseason tournaments, I was personally in a different position. So now, like this year, it kind of like feels more special, I would say, just in general with the group that we have, and like I don't know, it's just I don't think I've ever been so excited about postseason. So yeah.
Jacie, you're sitting up there with, I think Stailee was just named to All Big 12 first team. Anna, Gret, I think, was All Big 12 third team. Are you, I guess, happy with where your team was placed overall in those postseason awards, or do you feel like there's anyone who went under the radar? What are your initial reactions to those postseason acknowledgments?
Well, I'm very proud. I'm very, very proud, and there's no doubt about it that that they deserve to be on those lists. Stailee making first team is, you know, you can't go higher than that. But I do think Anna Gret is probably a little more deserving to be a little higher than where she was picked. And I think that if you, again, do your research and pay attention, that there's a lot of kids on teams that finished lower than us that are on those teams. And here we are, you know, we finished third. And while we had some other players acknowledged, you know, Micah was honorable mention. I mean, there's teams that finished lower than us with a lot more a lot more players that were named on those all-conference teams, and that's pretty disappointing. I feel a little bit sad and hurt for our kids because I feel a little bit cheated in that sense.
Do you think some of that, you know, not just the awards, but also what you're seeing when you look at projections, is y'all still battling this perception that people had of y'all coming into the year?
I mean, I don't know. I can't really speak for other people and voters and things like that. But I mean, I'm sure, you know, we are a program that traditionally has not had the success that we've been having. And I think it's since 2018 that we've been a top 25 team. So naturally you're going to see that and you're going to have to battle that. But I mean, I do think we've been proving ourselves all year long. So I would hope that people could give us a little more credit, I guess.
You mentioned her a couple times over the last week about Tenen, you know, what she's done for this program, you know, her spending her last year here. She, you know, led the conference in blocks in conference play, not on all defensive team. But what has she meant, you know, just as a leader and as a, you know, dominant post player like she has been for y'all?
Well, I mean, Tenen, I've said it time and time again, she's the anchor of our defense, and defense is what has allowed us to have the season that we've had. You know, a lot of people talk about our offense, and that's great and fun, but some of our biggest wins have boiled down to us being able to defend, and Tenen is the anchor to what we do. I mean, she's probably the one that I feel maybe most strong that got slighted or snubbed in the awards, because for her to not make all defensive team, I mean, I just simply don't understand. She led the conference in blocks. We've got the 14th ranked defense in terms of efficiency, and she's the anchor to that. I mean, she's our rim protector. She's everything to us defensively, and so that was pretty disappointing, because she has really led the charge on that end of the floor for us. Her and Lex Smith is definitely the other one.
Go ahead, Todd.
Okay, Stailee, you after one of the games, I think you mentioned that maybe where y'all were in the preseason poll, you know, y'all, that motivated you and the rest of the girls. Just when you look at now and see that, you know, y'all have the 3 seed heading into this tournament, like, I don't know, do you get any satisfaction from that? That, you know, how y'all were able to exceed what everybody else thought?
I mean, it's just to my point, like, we're not liked. I mean, people underestimate us, we've underestimated, you know, and I feel like we proved our point, and I feel like Coach said it, like, we got cheated for some of the awards, and I think some of my teammates got cheated for, because that we do have, like, Tenen, I feel like she should have gone on defensive. I feel like G should have been at least first, second team. I think Lex should have got on something. Michael, I mean, I could go on and on, but that just speaks to our depth and how we're for each other and our sisterhood. We play together and we just want to win.
So is that, you know, I don't know personally, and I guess you could make an argument that this would be a point when you could feel like good about everything y'all done, but you come across maybe as feeling more motivated by maybe the respect you haven't gotten to this point. Is that true?
I mean, yeah, I feel good about it, but, you know, we still have a lot of basketball left to play, and, you know, 3 seed, I mean, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, it feels good. I mean, I have never been excited to go to the Big 12 tournament as I am this year, and, you know, get into the NCAA tournament, but, you know, we just got to get to, you know, we just take it one game at a time. We can't look too far ahead, but this has been such a fun team, and I'm, like, kind of get sad and try not to think about like how the season's coming to an end. But we have a lot of basketball left.
What do you want to see over this next, both this week and then ahead of the NCAA tournament for yourself to get better or improve upon?
I mean, honestly, just keep leading with my team like how I have been, and just keeping us together and keeping us focused for the last, couple of weeks we have, and just, of course, just keep winning.
It was cool to see the other day, Sunday, Jaden had a pretty good little fan section, being home. What was that like for just being, pre-game, post-game, just kind of seeing her in her element, I guess?
Yeah, and I talked to her before the game because she told me she had a lot of people coming because she's home, and I was just like, well, don't let that distract you. I mean, I know it feels good to be home and see all your people. I said, but just go out there, don't worry about any of that. And I feel like she just has that freshman mind, and after the game, I had to tell her, I'm like, you're fine, like, you didn't play terrible, but I mean, like, you have a lot of people here to watch you. I mean, just be grateful for that. And she's like, okay. So it's awesome to watch her. I love playing with her.
What's she like? Is she someone that kind of like, if you're giving her instruction, you're giving her tips, is she like a sponge, or is she someone that's more critical of herself than y'all are? I mean, as a freshman, what is she like as far as learning and practicing?
She's a sponge, unless sometimes she can be an airhead. Like she can be in her own world sometimes. I talk to her all the time in the locker room. She's always like, I zone out, and I'm like, you can't do that. You gotta stop doing that. But try to catch her before Coach Jacie catches her in practice. Then we're all gonna get in trouble. But most of the time she responds very well.
Was there a time on the Gret when you were like, all right, she's not arrived, but she's still a freshman, but where you like she kind of made it as it like, I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say. She said like, she's a freshman. Was there a time when you're like, oh, she can hang with us? She can
I feel
do
like
what she's supposed to do, I guess.
I feel like she, like the moment she walked on campus, like it was kind of clear that she's not the typical freshman. That she's kind of like a little bit different. Her mindset's a little bit different, and kind of just has this like energy about her that I know I'm capable of being more than just the average freshman. So I guess it just started from the summer, but I feel like games wise, like probably the Daytona tournament we had, that's when she like showed the first flashes of like, if we need her to carry the load, then she's capable of doing that. So yeah,
How did that compare to what Stailee was doing last year as a freshman?
pretty much the same. Like both of them have really, really I don't know the correct word, but it's kind of like just I don't know the word. What I'm trying to look for. But pretty much like, you don't expect something from a freshman to do, and then they do it, and you're like, wow. And then they do it again, and then you're kind of like, okay, I'm not that surprised anymore. I don't know if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Jacie, sort of picking up on that, obviously Jaden's had some really great moments this season. You've expressed at times that you still see more for her. Are you still, not to take away what she's done, but are you still looking for more from her this season?
Yeah, 1000%. I'm looking more from everyone. It's that time of year where people gotta step up and win or go home, and so we want to be playing our best basketball all the way around. And I think Jaden's a big catalyst for us when she's wheeling and dealing. We're playing at a different pace. I mean, we're just a really good team when she's in that zone. But I think that really the biggest thing for her is just continuing to find ways to be consistent. We've seen the best of her. The best of her is, kind of putting the team on her back and helping us get a win over top-ranked TCU. I mean, she led that charge in that little stretch. I mean, that's what Jaden is capable of. I think she's got to continue to find ways to be more consistent, though.
It might have been easy for you to not bring in Lex and just say, hey, Jaden, this is like you're going to start, you're going to do all this. So how beneficial do you think it was for Jaden to have an experienced player above her? And obviously Lex had a great season as well.
Yeah, she has. I mean, sometimes, you know, when Jaden is very fortunate because she gets to be around a lot of amazing players and leaders as a freshman, and not every player gets that. Lex is that. She is an incredible leader by example. She's quiet, she doesn't say a lot, but she shows up and does her job every single day. I just mentioned consistency with Jaden. I mean, Lex's picture could be in the dictionary for consistency. I mean, you know what you're gonna get. She's as consistent as they come, and there's value in that, you know, great value. I think that she's also I think sometimes freshmen, they think that they have to score and like do all these, you know, cool, exciting things. The best players, they do the boring things over and over again, and that's Lex. You know, and I know you're trying to talk about Jaden right now, but gosh dang, Lex has just been such a solid staple for us this season. And I mentioned feeling frustrated that Tenen got left off that all defensive team. I mean, Lex, she drew the toughest assignment for us from a guard standpoint every single game. And for her name not to be on that list, I mean, she held the player of the year to her season low. I actually wrote it down here because I was just really fired up about this. Sorry, it wasn't her season low. She held her to 12 points. She held JJ Quinterly, who is one of the best scorers in the entire country, a pro. Both the players I just mentioned are pros. She held her to 10 points. She held Serena Sundell, who arguably could have been the player of the year, to 11 points. She held Caitlin Peterson to 8 points, which was her season low. She's the third best leading scorer in the conference. I mean, come on. You know, what more can you ask for from a defensive player, and just her willingness to take on that role every single game and not bat an eye and just, you know, do what we ask her to do. That's pretty special. And I wish that people put more stock into what she did, because I think that she also got snubbed a little bit. But as far as the original question about Jaden, you're not going to find a better leader. You're not going to find a better example of what consistency looks like, leadership looks like, a willingness to do whatever your team needs you to do to win. Jane's been very fortunate to have someone like Lex to learn from.
Was that in your mind during the recruitment process, or you're just like, hey, Lex is a really good player, we need
I loved Lex in the portal. I loved her film. She was a great defender. I love her rebounding ability as a guard. For a point guard to rebound the way she does is really special, and that allows us to play at the tempo we want. You know, like our transition is so good a lot of the times because Stailee can lead the break, Lex can lead the break off those rebounds. So that was something that really stood out to me. And then we just really fell in love with her when she came on her visit, and felt like she was a great fit into the culture that we wanted to, you know, reestablish here. And she's just exceeded a lot of the expectations I had. I knew she was going to be a really good fit, but she's been a stud for us this season.
Gret, I think we've asked you about this before, but I just want to ask you again, now that you actually are not going to play, you know, any other more games in this building, kind of what your just thoughts on your 3 years here, and just kind of, you know, how much this place has meant to you as a player and a person.
It's probably been the best 3 years of my life. I'm really going to miss this place. Like, I genuinely feel like it's my second home, and it's just sad to like think that I'm not gonna play at GIA anymore, or this year in general. Like, it's kind of just, or like not just this year, kind of this chapter of my life is kind of closing. Yeah, so it's just kind of like sad, but I'm not like trying to think about it as of right now, because we still have it going on, and kind of just trying to enjoy the moments that we still have together here. So yeah.
Stailee and on Gret, I want to ask you both, Coach has spent a lot of time talking about you all, bragging on you guys. Tell us about the job she's done leading this team. I mean, you got picked 11th. Nobody really talked about you. You guys tuned out the noise all year long. And when, after you both answer, Coach, if you could let us know what it's been like coaching this team, and like I said, you know, the body of work that you put together to continually, as you guys piled up records all year long, you're 29 games in, there's still things you can do. Speak about the coaching job that you've navigated this year with them.
Oh, me first? Okay. I feel like Coach Jacie has just really proven that she can like adapt to how to coach each team and each player differently. Like she knows how to like get the best out of each individual, and I think as a whole group this year that just really meshed together well. And I feel like our like preparation to like for games and just even like throughout the season in practices too, like her way of like motivating us or like keeping us motivated, like that's something I had never ever experienced before. Not just this season, like ever since I got here, that really like has like stuck with me just throughout this whole 3 years, and I think that's what really makes the difference with her or some other coach. Like I just really have like that.
Yeah, she has she set the standard for us, and you know, she coaches us to be our best, and you know, I feel like I've never had a coach where she knows every player to a T. Like she knows when we're not having a good practice or a good day, and she knows how to get us out of it, and she holds us to the level of where we're supposed to be. And I think we're just all bought in to winning and meeting those standards and just wanting the best for ourselves and for her, and you know, just for this team and this program that has made this season so special, because I feel us three last year went through something I feel like no one has ever went through, and now that we can look back, all three of us, and say like we stuck through it, and I feel like that year last year made us so much more better for this year, and I feel like we wouldn't be where we are today without what we went through last year. And it's just, she stuck with us and she pushed through, and I feel like it's just been everything we wanted.
Yeah, amen to that. I would say for me, this season, I went into it really focused on accomplishing a few things. The records have been great. They've been fun. But that's never been the motivation for us at all. You know, we don't even know about those records. I mean, we're just out there loving what we do and loving each other. And I think when you've got that, then those types of things happen. But I went into this season professionally wanting to get Cowgirl basketball to the place that I believe that it belongs, which is in the limelight. It's in the top 25. It's you know, getting that double bye. It's a team that is talked about, and we've done that. I wanted, but I knew I couldn't do that without a really strong culture, and our culture wasn't what it needed to be last season. So it was really important for me to get that part right first and foremost, and I'm so grateful to, you know, these two for sticking it out and helping me get things where they need to be and being a leader for what that looks like. I'm grateful to the staff, to my assistant coaches, did an amazing job of getting the tenants, getting the Lexes, getting the right pieces to make our culture what it is, because I would put our culture against any other culture in the country, and I've never loved coaching on a daily basis as much as I've loved this year. So that was a huge piece to me. Let's get the culture right. Let's get it back on track. Let's continue to elevate cowgirl basketball, and we've done that. When other people, didn't really see that coming, we did it, and I'm very proud of that. Personally, I would say for me going into this year, knowing that I was gonna, be pregnant and have my baby, I wanted to be a great role model for our kids. I wanted them to see a coach that, I don't want to say I balance it, because I don't know if that's the right word, because some days I get my butt kicked by motherhood, and some days coaching kicks my butt, so balance might not be the right word, but I wanted them to see someone who could make both work and who could be successful at both, because there's going to be a time when basketball's done for all my players, and no matter what they want in their life, I want them to know that if you do want a family, it doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your job, and not only do you not have to sacrifice it, you can kick ass in both things, and that's been really important to me, and I've, Harlow has traveled every road trip. She's around a lot. I feel like that's important for them to see that, and so that's been really fun, and something that I feel proud of myself. I'm not someone who ever is satisfied. Like, that's probably, it's a strength of mine, but it's a real struggle personally sometimes, because I never feel satisfied. I always feel like I could have done more or could be better. But I feel very proud that I've been able to be the mom that I've been and have the season that we've had, and lead the team the way that I have. But also, it's been really important for me personally, although Harlow doesn't understand it and won't for quite a while, for her to just be proud and for her to look up to me as someone who, can do both, and that's what I had in my mom. That's why I am the way I am, and if Harlow looks at me the way I look at my mom, then I've done my job, and I'm really grateful to this team for just what they've allowed all of us to accomplish this season because of that.